10 days before Thanksgiving, I heard my son planning to have me declared insane, steal my house, and dump me in a state facility. The worst part? Kyle, the boy I'd taught to throw a baseball, to stand up straight, to be a man. He was leading the charge. I had 10 days to turn their trap into their destruction. The cardiologist appointment ended 40 minutes early. Nothing serious, just routine follow-up. I pulled into my Scottsdale driveway at 3:15 instead of 5 cutting the engine in the November heat. Arizona in autumn, still pushing 85 degrees. My knees ached. 68 years leaves its marks. I grabbed my keys and entered through the side door, the one that opens into the laundry room. Quieter. My shoes came off by habit. Diane used to hate tracked dust. 3 years since cancer took her. Voices drifted from upstairs. My office. Melissa's voice, sharp with satisfaction. Dr. Phillips signed everything. The assessment confirms progressive dementia. By Thanksgiving, we'll have the guardianship hearing scheduled. I froze at the staircase. My hand found the oak railing, the one I'd refinished with Kyle 15 years back, teaching him to use the sander. Kyle's voice came through clear. And the house transfer? Once he's declared incompetent, we get full control? $545,000. Melissa's voice turned hard. Finally pays off your gambling debts. Your father's been sitting on this asset for decades while we're drowning. The blood drained from my face. My son was planning to strip me of everything. The old man doesn't suspect anything, Kyle continued. Still thinks we're his devoted family. 2 more weeks, and this house is ours. I stood frozen. An engineer's mind processes information systematically. Load calculations, stress points, structural integrity. My brain applied those principles now, analyzing the collapse of everything I thought I knew. I moved backward, silent, each step measured, through the laundry room, out the side door, into the garage. I sat in my car, staring at the steering wheel. 20 minutes passed. My heart rate eventually normalized, but the cold stayed lodged in my chest. When I finally went inside, they were cooking dinner. Melissa smiled, that practiced smile I'd trusted for 7 years. Tom, how was the cardiologist? Fine, just routine. I looked at Kyle. How was work, son? He didn't meet my eyes. Same old. Hey, Dad, you're still good with hosting Thanksgiving? Melissa invited some people. Of course, your mother always said this house loves a crowd. Kyle glanced at Melissa. Something flickered between them. I watched them during dinner, forced myself to chew, to swallow. Kyle had my build, my hands. I'd taught him to swing a hammer, to fix things, to keep his word. Where had I gone wrong? I remembered teaching him to ride a bike. He was 7, skinned knee, crying. Get back up, I'd said. That's what Brennans do. He'd gotten back up, ridden without training wheels. That boy was gone. That night, after their bedroom door closed, I waited. At midnight, I dressed in dark clothes and moved to the trash bins outside. 3 bags. I went through each methodically. Then, in the recycling bin, crumpled between Amazon boxes, papers. I smoothed them out under my flashlight. Petition for emergency guardianship and conservatorship in the matter of Thomas Robert Brennan, an alleged incapacitated person. Melissa's handwriting in the margins, one phrase circled in red. Subject demonstrates significant cognitive decline and poses danger to self. Lies. Clinical, calculated lies. A signature. Dr. Raymond Phillips, MD. I'd never met any Dr. Phillips, never been evaluated. But here was his official statement declaring me mentally incompetent. I sat on the cold garage floor, read every word, long enough for my legs to go numb, long enough for rage to crystallize into something colder. At 2 a.m. I stood, folded the document carefully, placed it in my jacket pocket. I walked back inside, stopped at the door, looked at my car. 10 days until Thanksgiving. 10 days until they plan to destroy me. An engineer builds structures, but an engineer also knows how to demolish them. Tomorrow, I'd need a plan. I opened the door and stepped inside, already calculating. Dawn came without sleep. The guardianship petition lay on my desk like evidence at a crime scene. I pulled out a notebook, started writing lists, assets, timeline, vulnerabilities. The house, my house, valued at $545,000. Kyle and Melissa had lived here rent-free for 2 years. Market rate, $2,200 monthly. Simple math, $52,800 they owed me. But they weren't planning to pay. They were planning to take everything. I photographed every page of the petition, uploaded to encrypted cloud storage, then crumpled the original exactly as I'd found it and returned it to the recycling bin. They couldn't know I'd discovered their plan. At 8:02 a.m., I searched Arizona property law online. Found it. Clause 3321. Property owner retains full rights to sell until court officially declares incompetence. The petition wasn't a court order, just a petition. I was still in control, legally. If they wanted the house, I'd remove it from the equation. Kyle and Melissa left for work at 9:30. I watched until they turned the corner. Then I grabbed my documents and drove to Phoenix. The notary's office occupied a strip mall. Rebecca Pierce met me in a conference room. Professional woman, early 50s, careful eyes. She reviewed my deed. Mr. Brennan, you're sole owner. You have complete right to sell. She paused. May I ask why the urgency? Let's say I've learned my living situation is about to change. I prefer to control that change. Her expression shifted. If someone is pressuring you. No one's pressuring me. I'm making a choice. I leaned forward. I need a real estate attorney who works fast and keeps quiet. She studied me, then pulled out a business card. Sarah Chen, best realtor in Scottsdale for quick, discreet sales. 20 minutes later, I sat across from Sarah Chen in a coffee shop. Dark hair, sharp suit, sharper mind. Mr. Brennan, you need to sell before Thanksgiving. That's 9 days. I'm aware. That's nearly impossible unless... She stopped. Unless you're willing to take a cash offer, probably below market. How far below? 10, maybe 15%, but it closes fast. No contingencies. Do it. She pulled out her phone. I have a California investor. Buys properties for his kids. He's been looking in this area. She started typing. If the price is right, he'll move immediately. The deed has one name on it. Mine. No one else signs. She looked up. Family situation? You could say that. Understood. She stood. Give me 4 hours. I'll have an answer. Back home at 2 p.m., I drove to Mesa, a bank I'd never used. Chase, not my usual Wells Fargo, where Kyle probably had contacts. The manager set up a new checking account, arranged for wire transfer of sale proceeds. Kyle's name appeared nowhere. My phone buzzed at 4 p.m. Sarah Chen, investor interested. Offering $545,000 cash. Wants to close November 27th. Inspection tomorrow at 10 a.m. Can you be available? I typed back, yes. Keep this confidential. Always do. November 27th, day before Thanksgiving. Perfect. And that evening, Kyle came home early. I was reading the newspaper at the kitchen table. Dad, you're home. Thought you had errands. My heart rate spiked, but I kept my voice steady. Finished early. Library, then lunch with Tom Bradley. You remember Tom? Henderson Tower project back in the 90s? Right, yeah. Kyle set down his briefcase. Watched me. You feeling okay? You seem different. Just tired. Getting old, I guess. He sat down across from me. Actually, Dad, Melissa and I wanted to talk to you about something. This house, it's getting to be a lot for you to manage. We were thinking maybe we could help you look at some senior communities. Nice places. Less maintenance. Senior communities. Not like that. Just Simplified living. For people our age who want less hassle. People our age? I smiled slightly. Kyle, I can still handle my own house. I know, but we worry. You're alone here. After Mom. His voice softened. It's a lot of space for one person. 3 people live here. Right, but that's temporary. Once Melissa and I get our own place. When will that be? Silence. Soon. We're saving. He stood. Just think about it, okay? The senior living thing. I'll think about it. After he went upstairs, I texted Sarah. Inspection confirmed for 10 a.m. I'll be out of the house. Her reply. Perfect. This is moving fast. Buyer's serious. I sat in the darkening kitchen, thinking about Kyle at 18, scared after his first car accident. I'd handled everything. Insurance, repairs, kept his record clean. A man protects his reputation, I'd told him. Once it's damaged, it's almost impossible to fix. He'd nodded seriously. I'll remember that, Dad. Apparently not. The next morning, I left at 9:30, met Sarah 3 blocks away. The inspector was already there. How long? I asked. 2 hours. Then we draft the purchase agreement. By noon, I sat in Sarah's office signing documents. Purchase price, $545,000. Close date, November 27th. Wire transfer to Chase account. Each signature felt like a strike against their plan. Mr. Brennan, Sarah said quietly, you're sure about this? Completely. November 27th. Closing day. I woke at dawn in my hotel room. I'd checked into the Hilton 2 days earlier, telling Kyle and Melissa I was visiting an old Navy buddy in Tucson. They'd barely looked up from their phones. At 1:30 p.m., I walked into Sarah Chen's office. The buyer was already there. Middle-aged man in an expensive suit, cash investor. No questions asked. Sarah spread the documents. Gentlemen, let's begin. An hour of signing, purchase agreement, title transfer, disclosure statements, my signature over and over, Thomas Robert Brennan, the name I'd given my son. At 2:47 p.m., Sarah looked up. That's everything. As of this moment, you no longer own the property. The buyer shook my hand. Thank you for the smooth transaction. My daughter will love this house. It's a good house, I said. Strong bones. I walked to my car, sat there for 10 minutes, feeling nothing and everything. My phone buzzed. Bank notification. Wire transfer received. $512,240, $500,000. My life's work, converted to numbers in a database. I drove back to the Hilton, pulled out the envelope I'd prepared last night. On it, in clear black letters, Kyle, read this. Inside, a note in the purchase agreement. Son, you wanted documents? Here's the only one that matters. The house sold November 27th, 2024. It's no longer mine, which means it's not yours either. I heard you that day, November 18th. Every word. The old man doesn't suspect anything. You were wrong. I hope your Thanksgiving plans work out exactly as you designed them. Your father I paid for overnight courier delivery to my old address. Then I turned off my phone and waited. Thanksgiving morning. I powered on my phone at 10 a.m. The notifications flooded in. 43 missed calls, 27 text messages, 6 voicemails. I read the texts chronologically. Kyle, 8:47 a.m. Dad, where are you, Kyle? 9:03 a.m. Guests are arriving. This isn't funny, Kyle. 9:24 a.m. Found your note. Call me now, Melissa. 9:41 a.m. Tom, we need to talk about this. Kyle, 10:02 a.m. You sold the house? You sold the fucking house? There it was, the moment of discovery. Kyle, 10:15 a.m. This is insane. You're clearly not in your right mind. We're going to fix this, Melissa. 10:22 a.m. Dr. Phillips confirmed you have dementia. This sale isn't legal, Kyle. 10:35 a.m. Answer your goddamn phone, Kyle. 10:58 a.m. The guests are asking where you are. Do you know how humiliating this is? Good. Let them be humiliated. I listened to one voicemail. Kyle's voice barely controlled. Dad, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you can't just sell the house. You're not well. Call me back so we can talk about this like adults. Like adults. I blocked all their numbers. At 11 a.m., I called Rebecca Pierce. They know. How bad? 43 calls. They're threatening to reverse the sale. Claims I'm incompetent. Let them try. You have 3 psychiatric evaluations confirming perfect cognitive function. The sale is legal, Thomas. Rock solid. They forged medical documents. Her voice hardened. Forward me everything. That's fraud. Potentially criminal. I sent the photos, the petition, the fake Dr. Phillips signature. Thomas, this is serious. They attempted to defraud you of over $500,000. You need to file a countersuit. Not yet. Let them make the first move. They will. People like this always do. Noon. Detective Carter from Phoenix PD called. Mr. Brennan, your son filed a missing person report. Says you're mentally impaired and may be in danger. Can you tell me where you are? Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Phoenix. Room 428. I'm perfectly safe and perfectly sane. Your son seems very concerned. My son is concerned that I sold my house without his permission. The house that belonged to me, not him. A pause. I see. Are you under any duress? No, detective. I made a legal decision to sell my property. My son is upset because he was living there rent-free and planning to inherit it. Understood. Thank you for your time. That afternoon, my hotel phone rang. Mr. Brennan, there's a woman here asking about you. Says she's your daughter-in-law. Tell her I'm not available, and please note I don't wish to receive visitors. 10 minutes later, pounding on my door. Melissa's voice. Tom, I know you're in there. Open this door. I sat quietly, didn't move. Tom, please, we can fix this. More pounding. A security guard. Ma'am, you need to leave now. That's my father-in-law. He's confused. Ma'am, Mr. Brennan requested no visitors. If you don't leave, I'll call the police. Footsteps retreating. I stood at the window, watching the sun set over Phoenix. Somewhere in Scottsdale, in a house that was no longer mine and never theirs, Kyle and Melissa were explaining to 8 guests why the host never showed. My phone buzzed. Rebecca. Kyle filed emergency petition for guardianship this afternoon. Hearing scheduled Monday, December 9th. We'll destroy it. I typed back. Good. Let's end this. That night, I dreamed of Diane, young again, looking at houses. This one, Tom. This is where we raise our family. You sure? Our son will have a good life here. I wanted to warn her, but Dream Diane just smiled. We can only do our best. I woke at 3 a.m., stared at the ceiling. We'd done our best. Kyle had made his choices. Now he'd live with them. December 9th. I met Rebecca outside Maricopa County Courthouse at 8:30 a.m. They're claiming you're dangerous to yourself, she said. Want to freeze your bank accounts pending competency evaluation. On what basis? The fake Dr. Phillips evaluation, plus affidavits from Kyle and Melissa claiming you showed confusion for 6 months. She held up a folder. But we have 3 independent psychiatric evaluations. You scored 98th percentile on memory tests. This will be quick. Inside, Kyle and Melissa sat with their attorney, Marcus Webb, expensive suit, predatory smile. Kyle looked terrible, lost weight, dark circles under his eyes. He stood as we approached. Dad, please, can we just talk? Rebecca stepped between us. Mr. Brennan, do not engage. Judge Hayes took the bench at 9 a.m. Sharp-eyed woman in her 60s. Emergency petition for guardianship, she read. Mr. Webb, your basis? Marcus stood. Your Honor, we have medical evidence from Dr. Raymond Phillips stating Mr. Brennan suffers from progressive dementia. The sale of his house was done impulsively without understanding consequences. Ms. Pierce? Rebecca handed the judge 3 folders. Psychiatric evaluations from 3 independent doctors, all conducted last month, all finding Mr. Brennan fully competent, no cognitive impairment whatsoever. Judge Hayes read silently. 2 minutes, then looked up. Dr. Cole's report says Mr. Brennan scored 98th percentile for his age group. That's not dementia. No, Your Honor. Mr. Webb, did your Dr. Phillips examine Mr. Brennan personally? Marcus hesitated. The evaluation was based on family reports. Did he examine my client? Yes or no? Not in person, Your Honor. So this is a diagnosis without examination, based solely on testimony from interested parties who stood to inherit the patient's house. Judge Hayes's voice went cold. Rebecca produced another document. Statement from Dr. Phillips himself, sworn under oath. He confirms he never examined Mr. Brennan, never wrote this evaluation, never signed this document. His signature was forged. The courtroom went silent. Judge Hayes looked at Kyle. Mr. Brennan, stand up. Kyle stood slowly. Did you forge a doctor's signature? We were concerned about his welfare. Yes or no? Kyle's jaw worked. It was Melissa's idea. That's not an answer. Did you forge a medical document? Yes or no? Yes. Petition denied. Judge Hayes banged her gavel. Mr. Thomas Brennan is clearly competent. Furthermore, I'm referring this matter to the district attorney for investigation of fraud and forgery. We're adjourned. In the hallway, Kyle tried again. Dad, please. I stopped, looked at my son. You called me the old man. You lived in my house for 2 years without paying rent. You forged a doctor's signature. My voice stayed level. You're not my son anymore. You're just a stranger with my DNA. Dad, goodbye, Kyle. I walked away, didn't look back. 3 weeks later, Marcus Webb filed a civil lawsuit, claims totaling $350,000, emotional distress, fraudulent property transfer, breach of implied contract. Rebecca called me. It's garbage legally, but it'll cost $30,000 to defend. File a countersuit, I said. 2 years unpaid rent, emotional damages, everything. Thomas, that's aggressive. They made this war. I'm finishing it. April 1st, trial day. Judge Morrison's courtroom. Jury of 12, 7 women, 5 men, ages 45 to 70. Rebecca's opening was surgical. Thomas Brennan opened his home to his son for 2 years, asked nothing in return, and discovered his son plotting to have him declared insane through forged medical documents so they could steal his house. 2 jurors shook their heads. Marcus Webb tried damage control. My clients made mistakes, but their intentions were good. Objection. Counsel is testifying. Sustained. I took the stand, walked through the timeline. November 18th. The recordings, the forged documents, the sale. Marcus cross-examined for an hour. Mr. Brennan, you never tried talking to your son about your concerns? I heard him plotting to lock me away using fake medical records. That's not assuming the worst. That's hearing the truth. You sold your house out of spite. I sold it to prevent theft. When someone's stealing your car, you move it somewhere safe. Same principle. He had no comeback. Then Kyle testified. Rebecca stood for cross-examination, moved slowly, deliberately. Mr. Kyle Brennan, I'm going to play a recording from November 18th. She pressed play. Kyle's voice filled the courtroom. The old man doesn't suspect anything, still thinks we're his devoted family. 2 more weeks, and this house is ours. Several jurors stared at Kyle. His face turned red. Does that refresh your memory, Mr. Brennan? Yes. So you did call your father the old man? Yes. And you did live rent-free in his house for 2 years? He offered, yes or no? Yes. Did you pay rent? Yes or no? No. Did you contribute to utilities, property taxes, or maintenance? No. Did you forge Dr. Phillips's signature? Long pause. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. Yes. No further questions. The jury deliberated 90 minutes. The foreman stood. We find in favor of plaintiff Thomas Robert Brennan. Unpaid rent, $52,800. Emotional distress, $50,000. Attorney fees, $24,200. Total damages, $127,000. In the hallway, Kyle blocked my path. Dad, I don't have that kind of money. This will destroy me. I looked at him, the boy I'd taught to ride a bike, the man who'd tried to cage me. You tried to destroy me first, I said. You just failed. 6 weeks after the trial, Kyle and Melissa filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Rebecca forwarded me the documents. Total liabilities, $195,000. My judgment sat at the top like a crown on ruins. Breakdown. Thomas's judgment, $127,000. Legal fees to Marcus Webb, $45,000. Credit card debt, $18,000. Kyle's gambling debts, $5,000 assets. Kyle's 2015 Honda Civic. Melissa's laptop, some furniture. Total value maybe $8,000. They're discharging everything, Rebecca said. You'll get about $2,000 from asset liquidation. The rest is gone. I know. So this was never about the money. No, I said. It was about making sure they couldn't pretend it never happened. Over 3 months, I received 3 checks, $347.18, $892, $685. Total recovered, $1,924.18 out of $127,000. I donated $2,500 to the Arizona Elder Abuse Prevention Foundation, made their debt mean something. In July, updates arrived through Rebecca's investigator. Melissa's employer terminated her when court records went public. Company policy prohibited employees involved in fraud investigations. She filed for unemployment. Denied. Termination was for cause. Kyle's consulting business collapsed. Clients discovered his court history, canceled contracts. His LinkedIn showed seeking opportunities. They were 3 months behind on apartment rent. August brought divorce papers. The filing blamed irreconcilable differences stemming from financial stress. Kyle claimed Melissa pressured him into the guardianship scheme. Melissa claimed Kyle's gambling drove everything. They're tearing each other apart, Rebecca said. Let them. Puke September. 3 voicemails from unknown numbers. The first. Dad, it's me. I'm living out of my car now. I lost everything. I'm sorry. If you could just help. Please. I deleted it. Blocked the number. The second. Tom, this is Melissa. Kyle and I are divorced. I want you to know. It was all his idea. I tried to stop him. Please, if you have any kindness left. Delete. Block. The third. Dad, I'm not asking for money. Just, could we talk? 5 minutes. I miss you. You're still my father. That has to count for something. I listened 3 times before deleting it. In October, Rebecca forwarded news. Criminal charges filed against Kyle. Forgery, attempted fraud. He pleaded guilty to 1 count of attempted fraud, misdemeanor. Sentence, 200 hours community service, 2 years probation. The judge's statement at sentencing, Mr. Brennan, you betrayed your father's trust in the worst possible way. The only reason you're not going to prison is that your father ultimately showed you more mercy than you showed him. November 18th, 1-year anniversary of the discovery. Dr. Raymond Cole called. Mr. Brennan, I received a concerning message from Kyle. He contacted my office about thoughts of self-harm. I've contacted crisis services in Flagstaff. I thought you should know. Ice water through my veins. Is he serious? I don't know, but I'm obligated to report it. I sat in silence after the call ended. Kyle, thinking about suicide. Because I'd fought back. Because I'd won. Part of me felt nothing. He'd made his choices. Part of me felt everything. He was still my son. I texted Kyle's cousin in Flagstaff, found his number through Facebook. This is Thomas Brennan, Kyle's father. I heard he's struggling. Please make sure he gets help. Crisis services, therapy, whatever he needs. Send me the bills. I wouldn't talk to Kyle, wouldn't reconcile, but I wouldn't let him die either. There's a difference between justice and cruelty. The cousin texted back, "Thank you. I'll make sure he's safe." And 6 months later, May. I stood in my garden in Sedona. Small house, 2 bedrooms, view of Thunder Mountain. I'd bought it in January. $385,000 cash, no mortgage, no debt. The remaining money sat in conservative investments, enough to live comfortably. I'd started volunteering at the Sedona Senior Center, teaching basic home maintenance. The seniors called me Professor Tom. One of them, Linda, widow, 70, started having coffee with me. Nothing serious, just companionship. 2 people trying to figure out what comes next. My phone rang. Dr. Cole. Mr. Brennan, update on Kyle. He completed crisis treatment. He's in ongoing therapy, stable. He asked me to tell you something. What? That he's working as an Uber driver in Flagstaff, living in a studio apartment, going to Gamblers Anonymous 3 times a week. He said, "Tell my dad I'm trying to be the man he raised me to be, even if it's too late." I closed my eyes. Thank you, doctor. A week later, a letter arrived. Kyle's handwriting. "Dad, I won't ask you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. I just want you to know, I understand now what I did. Not just legally, I mean I understand what it must have felt like to hear your only son plotting against you. I wake up every morning hating myself. Therapy helps, but it doesn't erase it. I'm working 2 jobs now, trying to rebuild something. Not the life I had. That's gone. Just a life. I know you don't care about any of this, but I needed to tell you. You were right. About everything. About consequences. About manhood, meaning keeping your word. I destroyed my reputation. That's on me. I love you, Dad, even though I have no right to. Kyle." I read it 3 times, put it in a drawer. That evening, I opened my laptop, typed an email to Rebecca. If Kyle completes 2 years of therapy and probation without incident, I'll consider meeting him for coffee. 1 hour, neutral location, not forgiveness, just conversation. Let me know if he asks. I hit send, went to my deck, watched sunset paint the rocks orange and purple. My phone sat silent. No unknown numbers, no desperate calls, just silence. Perfect silence. Tomorrow would come, and the day after. I'd survived. I'd rebuilt. I'd protected myself. Maybe someday, if Kyle truly changed, truly understood, maybe someday it could be more, but not today. Today, I just survived. And that was victory enough.